All right, looks like we're live and good to go here. I'm going to wait just a few minutes for some people to join the live chat here. It always takes, I've noticed it always takes about 10 or 15 minutes, or maybe not that long, maybe like 10 minutes or so, to notify people and have them join in. So I got a lot of requests to do this Instagram live critique. So I'm going to try it out since we're doing since I've been lazy on the Instagram live critiques. I figured I would do, or just the Instagram critiques in general. I figured I would do a live one because I've been getting a lot of requests to do a live show where I critique images. And the live shows, to be honest, are actually easier for me to do because it's easy content because I don't have to do any editing and make fancy graphics. Google just handles everything for me, so that's actually quite nice. But I need to do more live streams. So I promise I'm going to do more of these live streams, and I promise I'm going to get them on a schedule so you guys have like a day to look forward to. Not that you should look forward to listening to me or anything, but that way at least you have a day I'm going to be live if you have any questions or anything. I'll probably do like 2 days a week, maybe like a Tuesday and Friday or something like that. Bear with me a second while I pull up my chat window. I always forget to pull up my chat window. It's like my biggest thing here. I got to know what you guys are saying, obviously. So we're going to get started with the live critique in just a minute here. Let me go back here. I wish there was a better way that Google handled the live chat stuff, because you gotta have the I should probably mute myself here in the other video. You gotta have a separate window up for the live chat, and then a separate window up to see yourself in the video and make sure the live stream is okay. So it's kind of a cumbersome process, but I'm gonna do my best here to make it good for everybody. Hey, how you doing, Andrea? Good morning. Yeah, this is the first time I've done a morning live chat, I believe. I already got my coffee ready to go here because I don't do well with mornings because I stay up so late. So, and I normally get up decently early too, but I normally don't record anything in the morning because my voice sounds like this and I'm pretty much a zombie in the morning. So I'm just normally in the mornings when I wake up, I just edit videos and edit photos. I don't talk to the world because typically I'm just in full zombie mode. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the live critique. Of course, I'll keep an eye on the chat window in between photos. So I'll just do, I'll make a critique on a photo and then I'll swap over to the live chat for a minute and we'll take a look at that. So feel free to keep, throwing in questions or throwing in your suggestions as well. Since this is my first live Instagram critique, you guys can, it'll be interesting to see what you guys say. So you guys can, put in some input as well, and I'll read that off because anyone that's, brave enough to submit a photo for critique is obviously brave enough to take feedback from multiple people. So as I give feedback, you guys can give your feedback as well, and I'll read it off on the live chat here so that when the person that took the photo goes back and watches this video, they can have kind of everyone's input, because it might be, cool to get 5 or 6 different opinions or however many. So, okay, let's go ahead and start this here. I'm going to swap my window around. Let me choose Photoshop. Okay, so if all is working correctly, you guys should be seeing the Photoshop window right now. So, of course, I will put in the description who took each photo. I'll link to their Instagram. So I'll just name it, photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3. Obviously, I can't. This isn't a a video that's going to have post-production on it, so I can't throw up any fancy Instagram graphics. But I promise I will link them in the description. So if you are interested in who took these, that will be labeled photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3 in the description. So this first one here looks like a cool place. These rocks are really neat looking, actually. So I'd be curious to know where this is. I couldn't tell where it was from Instagram. I didn't see a hashtag that tagged a location or anything. But the first thing that I see when I take a look at this photo, and you guys can put in your feedback as well. The first thing I see is that This photographer was probably, wandering around this location, trying to get the best of sunset or something, and trying to throw together the best composition he or she knew how to do. And I can tell that, over here, let me get my brush tool here. Over here, where this little road is, you can tell they were probably trying to use that as a really long, nice leading line. And, that would have been okay if the road wasn't cut off. It's kind of on the edge of the composition, and it just kind of chops off. And sometimes that can work well, because sometimes that, kind of, signifies this mysterious, like, disappearing into nowhere type thing. But it's so tiny, it's just this little strip here, and it kind of disappears. Now, I like how it disappears over here. Out here, I like how it disappears into the sunset. That's nice. But over here, it's just kind of chopped off to the side a little too much, I think, in my opinion. So compositionally, I think this could use some work as far as evening everything out, because I feel like the right side of this image, like everything to the right of this, is really heavy. And what I mean by that is, I think that first off, the whole composition is kind of leaning, right? We have this whole leaning from down to the left. And since it's leaning, it's kind of putting emphasis on all of this stuff to the right. So this big rock here, obviously the hill here, because this hill is the high ground. It's got this little, road that's chopped off that goes down. And so there's so much going on over here to the right that I feel like the left of the photo is kind of being ignored a little bit, because I'm so focused on things that are happening in the right of the image here, because it's so kind of uneven as far as the composition goes. However, the rocks are very cool. It's by no means a bad photo. It's very cool to look at. I just feel like, because it's leaning down like this and kind of putting so much emphasis on the rock and the hill, I'm having trouble figuring out what the subject is here. I guess that's my biggest issue. I don't know if, the subject is trying to be the rocks, or if the photographer is wanting us to focus on this road here, or if maybe it's, this little grassy patch right here. I'm just not sure. And then, so the big thing is the composition. I think all the elements were there to make this a good photo. This might have even been able to be fixed with a crop. I'm not sure. We'll play with that in a second. But the other thing I noticed, other than some blown out highlights in here, which, maybe at the time you just wanted to capture the light the best you could. You didn't have time to grab a filter or anything. But the other thing I noticed is up here in the sky, right here where I'm drawing this line and upwards, the sky is like black. And I don't know if maybe you did like a Lightroom, graduated filter after the fact or something. That's my assumption. Maybe try to lower the exposure. Maybe it's just simply, what happened, the way the sensor that captured the light. But I would definitely have tried to fix that, because the sky is that. If you guys watch my critiques by now, you know that I can't stand the ink blue color. I'm just not a big fan of that, like black sky, and then all of a sudden, like right here it's black, and then here it's blue, and then here it's white, and then here it's completely blown out. So it's the sky and the colors are very uneven. But again, it's not it's not a bad photo. So if the photographer that took this is watching this, don't think don't quit photography and give up and go break your camera. It's just, I think that literally moving your feet left or right, or, turning the tripod to even out the composition could have literally made the biggest difference. So like I said, all the elements were here to make a great photo. I just simply believe that, the composition is the main thing that's throwing me off. The color and contrast and the way that, the processing goes can always be changed, but unfortunately the composition can't really be changed after the fact unless you crop it. So let's just try that. Let's do a crop on it and see what that would do. What if we made it like a vertical shot? It did something like this. Let's try that. So yeah, see, immediately that already looks better to me, because we got rid of that left side of the image, which is so kind of forgotten to me. And now it's not so, the image isn't leaning so much. So now we have, way more of an evened out. I'm actually focusing on the road a little more. My eyes are actually wanting to follow the road, because all the stuff over here to the left is gone. we have one nice big rock. So now my eye, it kind of makes more sense. Now I'm actually believing that the main subject is this rock here. That's the subject. The road is kind of leading me to the rock, and that makes a little more sense. So, cropping, you'd be surprised at just cropping and taking a few different compositions while you're in the field, how that can really help, improve your chances of liking the photo when you get back in post-production. So before we move on, let me check the live chat real quick. Let's swap back over to my webcam here. Let me check the live chat. Nicola says, "Hi, Eric. Why does everyone use Instagram? Because it is awful on Windows. I cannot upload to Instagram for Windows 10. Would it be possible to use another format as well, please?" Yeah, definitely. If you don't have Instagram right now, the reason why I do the Instagram photo critiques is mainly because it's just easy for me to track the hashtags. Since you guys, if you just use the hashtag FME critique, that's what allows me to go and find all the photos. Because I tried this. So Nicola, I'll tell you, or Nicola, I'm sure I'm botching your name, but the reason why I chose Instagram is because I tried it another way before. Before I did these Instagram critiques, I tried doing it like a submit form on my website. Like people would email me a photo or submit it, and I would get a much lower submission rate because of that. Because, think about it. If you're already posting a photo on Instagram and you just hashtag a photo, it's so much easier for someone to just throw in my hashtag along with their other stuff that they're already posting. But if they have to take time out of their day to go to my website, find the submit page, fill out their name and upload a photo and choose the file and make sure it's small enough, that's just kind of a pain in the butt. So right now I have like 500 photos that are submitted for critique, which is a ton, and I appreciate that. But when I was asking people to submit it through email or my website, I would get like 10 a month. And right now I have so many that I don't even know what to do with. So Nicola, if you want your photo critiqued, please just email it to me. And since you don't use Instagram, so I'm sorry for that you haven't been able to participate. So just email me, which is eric@findingmiddleearth.com. And just shoot me like a medium resolution version JPEG of the photo, and I will definitely get you in the critique. So sorry that you haven't been able to participate because of the Instagram thing. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the chat. Let's swap back around to photo number 2 here. Let me get my windows organized. Go back to Photoshop and should be good. Okay, so photo number 2. By the way, actually, let's go back to this photo. Thank you very much to the person that submitted this. Again, all of these are meant to be very constructive. I would never pick a photo to critique and just rip it apart if I also didn't tell you what I liked about it. There's very rarely just completely bad photos, but I would also be honest with you. I promise I'm here to just be honest and help you get better at photography. So thank you for submitting the image. Let's go to photo number 2. So this one, at first glance, I really like it. So I love the light, right? That's kind of the selling point of this image, if you will. The light is beautiful. You can tell this is a harsh side lit composition. I'm not sure where this is, but it looks like a beautiful place. It might be in Oregon. That would be my guess, maybe. If not, then maybe the countryside of Italy or France or something. But it's just it's beautiful. So let's first go over the things I really like about it. So I love the light. I love the lines, all the lines and shapes. So these little lines of the hills here, this little shape here. It's amazing what light can do, because if this was taken in flat lighting or after the sun had already gone down, all of this would just be a grassy field. There would be no shapes or contour to these hills. So I love that there's these great shapes here and here and here. It's all about shadow. The best thing about side lighting like this is the way that the light casts shadows in certain areas to make the perfect contrast to where you get all these great shapes, because it just makes this a very high contrast scene where the light hits. So I love the shapes, I love the light, but yet again, kind of like photo number 1, I'm kind of having trouble finding the subject in this photo. That's my biggest issue here. I think the photographer definitely knew what he was doing. You can tell he knows how to chase the light correctly. Not a bad composition, but I'm trying to find what the subject is, right? What is the photographer trying to tell me to look at? Is it this blank field? You wouldn't think so, right? Because there's kind of nothing special about this field versus this field. The only thing I can think of is maybe this cool little road that kind of flows through the trees that goes all the way through here. That's the only thing I can think of, because that road kind of draws the eye all the way through the scene. Let me zoom this in a little bit so you can see. So this little road down here just kind of weaves all the way through the scene and kind of disappears over here, which I like that. That's cool. But I'm having trouble just figuring out what the subject is. I have no complaint with the light. My biggest thing is the composition, right? What am I trying to focus on? I think that I had this problem a lot too. I had a big problem with this. I would just go to these beautiful locations and I would see these landscape vistas, these beautiful vistas, and I would just want to capture everything. I would just want to point my camera at the huge overlook, or the as far as you can see vista, and just take in everything that I was feeling and seeing. But on camera, sometimes that doesn't always work, because you have to pick out certain details that you want to emphasize so that it actually makes more sense to the viewer. Because I'm sure this photographer was there at this location thinking, my gosh, this is beautiful. I can't wait to convey this to everyone. And the photographer that took this knows what he or she was feeling, right? They know, because they were there, but we don't know. So we need kind of more of a context of what are you feeling? What's going on? What's the main subject here? Because all I see again is this hill, this big like grass patch in the foreground, the road, and then there's like a dirt area over here. And so that kind of makes up the foreground. So maybe, let's say maybe the subject is just the trees, because there are trees here and there's no trees going back here. So maybe it's just that the photographer wanted us to focus on all the nice lighting, smacking all these trees from the side and giving it that beautiful look. Because I hesitate saying anything bad about this photo, because again, it's such a beautiful capture of the light. But for some reason, call me insane, for some reason, I just want to do this. I just want to take all of this up and take this in and make this like a really cool, funky, abstract photo. Like, look at that. That again, this is just my taste, but I think that makes things really, really interesting, really mysterious, really weird, and you kind of don't know what to think. But at the same time, it compositionally, it kind of makes more sense to me, because it's easier. It's easier for my eyes to follow. There's these big long shapes that go all the way across the photo, here and here. You can tell it's light hitting something. You don't know if it's some kind of weird pattern, if it's grass, if it's whatever. And then you can see way back here, teeny tiny here, these small rivers, all in here and in here. They're these tiny little rivers that are flowing. So when your eye starts to kind of focus in on the details, you kind of put it together in your head. Oh, this must be, a big pasture, a big mountain range or something. And there's these tiny little details back here where the river flows. And the best photos, in my opinion, are the ones that make you want to do a second look and a third look and a fourth look and want to really inspect the photo. Versus if we uncrop this and go back to here, this just kind of shows you, it kind of shows you too much. It's almost like a bad magician, right? That just shows you the whole trick. You're like, here's everything, figure it out, and good luck. And it's just it's a little much. It's a little busy because there's so much going on. But again, the light is beautiful, and I love that the abstract shapes and lines. So that's just my opinion. Again, this is all, everything is to taste when it comes to art. So there might be people that would pay tens of thousands of dollars to have this print in their room. I just, personally think that the most interesting aspect of this photo is everything from here upwards. I love the big abstract shapes and the way the light is hitting kind of these pink colored hills. I really dig that. So yeah, that's what I have to say on that one. But as far as the color and the processing, I love it. It's not too tampered with. It's just very organic, and there's so much integrity in the light, and it's beautiful. So let me go back to the live chat here for a second. We'll see what's going on over there. Let's see. Any action in the live chat? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here. Almost out of coffee. That's not a good thing. All right. No more chat information. All right. I can't see how many people are watching right now. I might be completely alone, but if you guys are here, feel free to provide your own feedback. The photo video show. Oh, what's up, Mark Puckett? Dude, how do I get one of my photos in your critique? Mr. Mark, if you when you post your stuff on Instagram, just use my hashtag FME critique, and I'll choose yours next week, man. But all I'm going to say is good things about it because I love your black and white work. So, but it would be fun to critique one of yours and see what I might do different with some processing or something. And I want you to critique one of mine. So maybe we can do like a live show together where we both critique each other's photos. Like literally we just critique each other's portfolios. That would be kind of cool. So, all right. Let's flip this screen back around and go to the last photo here. And then we'll do a quick Q&A and then we'll wrap this up. Let me find my Photoshop window again. Cool. All right. And again, I'll put in the description who took these photos and I'll link to their Instagram. But again, thank you very much for submitting this photo. Then we'll do the last one here. Okay. So this one, there's a lot of white going on. And you can tell it's a beautiful location. I mean, the water is that beautiful, like aqua / green color. There's like a lot of different hues of blue and green going on. So it's a beautiful place, you can tell. I'd like to know where this was taken. So if the person that took this is watching, I'd love you to comment and let us know where this was because it's super cool looking. So the first thing I see, and I'm sure the first thing anyone sees here is that there's a lot of loss of detail. That's the first thing I notice. And if you want to know what I mean by that is, it means all these white patches here, these bright white patches, I think they're all a little too hot. They've gone a little overboard. So let's just confirm that. Let's see. So number one, you can see up here in the histogram in Photoshop that there's a highlight warning. But let's just take this photo into Adobe Camera Raw real quick. Okay. And look at that. So hopefully that screen is still showing on the live stream, but you can see all these red splotches. That is telling me that all of these areas there is no detail. It has been completely blown out. So I don't know if you can see that at all. I'm not sure if it. Let me see if I can switch the window around so you guys can see this because I don't think that picked up. So give me a second here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second. I'm going to go to a different window. Let's see. And I'm going to share this one. Okay, so you guys should be able to see this window that I'm on now, hopefully. And so this window is the one that's showing all the highlight warnings. So you can see all these red splotches on the water. Okay, this is everywhere where the photo is blown out. And you can see that's a large chunk of the photo, all the way from the foreground down here to the midground to the very background back here. So that's the biggest thing I'm going to say about this photo is just, keep an eye on those highlights. Because if you printed this, there would be a whole lot of just nothing. It would just be white paper. And some people like the whole overexposed thing, but when it comes to water, that it's all kind of done to taste. I think that this is way too much of a blown highlight. So let's go back to my Photoshop window now. Let me swap back to that. Okay, should be back on Photoshop now. Okay, so now they're back here. So anyway, so the first thing is it's blown out. That's my number one critique on this. As far as the composition goes, I like the foreground. I like the midground. I think that the foreground is cool, being these nice long shapes of the water right here that actually is drawing my eye, which would probably draw my eye more if this big area right here wasn't blown out. So I trust that there probably was detail there. Maybe it just didn't, come out in post-processing. So I like the lines there. I love the rocks right here. This rock here, this rock. They have I don't know. There's something about smooth, wet rocks that I just love. They have a beautiful look when it comes to long exposures. It's great. So the other thing here that I would say, and this is kind of more of a technical thing. I would have been curious to know if this photographer was using a circular polarizer, because had you been using a circular polarizer, all these little these bits of glare on the rocks. Let me zoom in. See how these rocks have these shiny, glary bits right here and here. and here and here. All that glare, or at least 90% of it, would have been eliminated had a circular polarizer been used, because that would just eliminate the glare from the water and the rocks there. So that's the second technical thing I'll say. As far as the composition, though, I like the foreground. I like the midground. The background throws me off a little bit, because in this photo, I actually want to know what's going on up here. I want to see if there's more trees, or if it maybe like falls off into a waterfall. But, you know, again, I wasn't there. So it could be a case of maybe there was like a dude fishing back here, or somebody up here that he had to crop out or something. You know, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I personally would like to see a little bit more of the top, see what's going on. However, there might be more to this photo, because a lot of times when we put photos on Instagram, we have to kind of bias the crop based on what we want people to see. So something tells me that there probably is more to this photo than what I'm saying. So I'm going to hold off on that bit of the critique, because I think that there probably was more to this photo. And it was probably cropped down for Instagram, because this just looks like too funky of a composition to me for this photographer to make that decision in the field. I think that there's probably more to this photo. So I'm going to hold off on that part of my my critique there. I think that there's probably more to this. As far as the composition, I think it's great. I think that the foreground, midground, there's a lot of shapes that lead me right up through the rocks. Biggest thing I might have said was that, you know, this is a little bit of distraction right here. This rock in the side is a little bit of a distraction. And then maybe a crop. Yet again, a crop might have done this a little better. So let's try that again, because I think the main shapes are this big line here in the water, this line here, and then there's all these little tiny water tendrils, if you will, that are kind of flowing off of these rocks leading into the camera. There's all these tiny little shapes, as you can see, that are just flowing right to the camera and making all these wonderful little lines and shapes. So those are all great. So I think if we cropped this, it might actually look a little better. So yet again, let's try that. It's amazing how many times a crop kind of fixes stuff. So let's try a crop. Let's see what we might do. Let's take it over a little bit. You know what? Let's take it over a lot. And then let's take it up a little bit. I hate losing that shape in the bottom, but I think that would be better just for the composition. Let's see what that would look like. So see, I think that immediately looks better to me. I think it eliminated a lot, yet again, a lot of the messy rocks that were over here to the left. And I think our main subject, like to me at least, the main subject in this photo is everything inside this circle, this big pile of rocks with all these wonderful little lines and water tendrils, just creating these mini waterfalls that are just flowing right into the camera and drawing my eye right up to the rest of the photo. I think look at all these shapes. There's so many tiny little leading lines that are going right down to the camera, you know, including this big shape here, this shape here, this shape here, this little water tendrils, all these that are just flowing right into this. So again, I think that had this not been blown out, this area here, that there would have even been more detail there to see. So again, I think all the elements were there to make this a great photo. It is not a bad photo by any means. As a matter of fact, it's a very good photo. It's a very beautiful location. But I think with those small tweaks that I've been talking about, I think that it would have taken this from like a 3.5-star photo to like a 4.5-star photo. And I think that would have made all the difference. So yeah, but I mean, just beautiful long exposure was the right thing to do here. Very good idea. Beautiful location, beautiful capture. I would definitely love to see more work. I already followed this person on Instagram, so I'm definitely curious to see more work from them. It looks like they have a lot of waterfall work on their portfolio, I believe, actually. So yeah, I'm just simply curious to see how their work improves and how they keep capturing all these beautiful locations. They must live somewhere really beautiful. So yeah, thank you so much for submitting this photo for critique. If you guys, again, I'm going to check the chat window here. If you guys have any feedback, go ahead and send those in now before we end the video, and I'll read those off to everybody. Let me check the live chat here again and take a sip of my coffee. All right, let's see. Pull the shots up right now, or I can email you one. Ah, Mark Puckett, man, you already sent me one. Okay, I'll do that. Actually, just a second. I'll go ahead and critique yours. Okay, this is happening live, everybody. Mark Puckett from the Photo Video Show literally just sent me an email in the live chat and wants me to do a live critique right now. So I will do that. I will entertain that. A few weeks ago, I bought an XT2 and it's awesome. That's awesome. Janik says that. At least I think that's how I say your name, Janik. So sorry, I'm terrible with names, and I know I have a lot of people that follow me that are internationally, so names are just hard to pronounce. Okay, I'm gonna check my email right now, Mark. Give me a second. Which did you send it to? findingmiddleearth@gmail.com, or is it my Eric at findingmiddleearth? Let me check my phone here just in case. All right, so give me just a minute, everybody, since all this is happening live, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Mark. Okay, cool. So you sent it to my Eric at Finding Middle Earth. All right, someone. Oh, you would send me that one. You know I love that one. All right. I don't know how I can critique this. Let me include the attachment. I'm going to forward this over to my desktop here. All right. I think this is so cool that all this is happening literally live. All right, I just forwarded that email. I'm going to pull that up in Photoshop. Give me a second, everybody. I'm going to pull Mark Puckett's photo up Photoshop, and we'll do a critique on that real quick. Let me check the live chat again. I'm from Germany. Oh, wow, cool. That's awesome. You know what? I love German accents. It's like one of my favorite accents to listen to. They're so unique compared to everything else. Plus you knew you wanted to I know. Yeah, you would. See, Mark Puckett is cheating here a little bit, folks. I'll let you know, because I commented on this photo on Instagram of his, and I told him I wanted a print of this because I liked it so much. Now he's making me critique the photo, which is like a cardinal sin to do to somebody that loves a photo, because I don't even know how I'm going to critique this. All right, let me see if this photo is sent over correctly. Because apparently I'm so smart when it comes to technology. I don't know why it's not sending over. I don't have my website email added on this desktop computer for some reason. So let me try to forward this again. All right. Yeah, it's a small JPEG, so it should be emailing pretty quickly. There it goes. Okay. All right, I'm going to drag this into Photoshop right now, and then we'll go ahead and do the critique. Okay. Let me get a brush, because I'm going to be really mean to this photo. All right, let's do this. Let me turn my screen around. Screen share, Photoshop window, and I believe we are good to go. Okay, so this is a photo by Mark Puckett from the Photo Video Show. You should go and follow him on YouTube, by the way. He's got a lot of good videos. But unfortunately, he's just a terrible photographer. That's the bad part. He talks about photography, but as you can see, this photo is just absolutely horrific. I mean, I don't know why you would take a photo of a clock. Doesn't even make sense. It's ridden with noise. The color is horrible. There's no color. The post-processing is, no, all right, I'm going to stop now. I'm just kidding. Mark posted this photo on Instagram, and I'm a sucker for like old steampunk type stuff. Just like old time classical. I don't know. I like in my office, I have I'll buy antique stuff all the time because I love it. So this just reminds me of everything that I love as far as like old classic decor. Like this, like I'm just going to say it, I guess, what I'm feeling right now. So when I looked at this photo for the first time, I just felt like Mark was inside of like Sherlock Holmes' office. Like he snuck into Sherlock Holmes' office back in like old school England and took a photo of his clock or something. Like this is just super timeless. No pun intended, because it's a clock, but it is super timeless. I think that this photo would make a beautiful print. If I owned a gallery, I would hang this in there. I don't know, something about this speaks to me. And what's funny is, another person might see this photo and just scroll right by it on Instagram and not think anything of it. But it spoke to me. I love how It's just teeny tiny, like pretty much from here to here is like the only part of this photo that's in focus. It's very selective focus. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but I'm assuming this was taken with the Acros film simulation on the Fuji X-T2. And so I love like that natural pattern film noise all throughout here. It's just, I don't know, something about this photo. I love it. If I would critique anything, let me see if I would critique anything. I'm going to be really bad at this because I don't know if I would. Okay, here we go. If I could critique anything, I would say I might have gotten a tiny bit closer to the mechanism of the clock to get rid of this black area right here. I might have filled the entire frame with the white bit of the clock right here. However, that's like the most nitpicky thing in the entire world, and that's just me. Because out of all honesty, that fall off to the black does add kind of a nice contrast. So, that's just kind of to taste. But let's just see what that would look like if we just kind of cropped that in a little bit. Yeah, see, the cropping doesn't really work because it just needed to be maybe zoomed in a little bit. But, a vertical composition might be kind of cool on this, or like a tighter crop. Let's see what that might do. Kind of clamp it off a little bit. Yeah, so that looks okay, but the original is still better. You can't crop fix this. This is art in its purest form, ladies and gentlemen. I love this photo. And again, he cheated because he knew I loved this photo. So if you want a real critique, Mr. Puckett, send me a photo that I haven't seen of yours yet, because I liked this one. All right, well, let me go back to the chat here. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your photos. And let me see what the live chat is saying. Yeah, so Mark Puckett says, yes, Acros, the X-T2 and the 16 mil 1.4. Yeah, so the 16 millimeter 1.4 with that close selective focus you can get, it's basically like a wide angle macro lens. Let's just be honest. It's really sweet. So Andrew Marks, hey, what's up? Hey, that's I believe that's my brother, unless there's another Andrew Marks that follows me. The photo video show says your wife must love you so hard. Yes, she does. I get told all the time that I'm too nice. So that's why when I started these photo critiques, I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to say anything to anybody. But as I've become a photography educator, so to speak, I've had to, over the past like 5 years, I've had to just be completely honest in a nice way with people. You're not going to inspire anybody by saying, hey, you suck, don't stop taking photos. There's always a positive way to spin it to inspire them to just do better instead of just ruin their life in 5 minutes. So, but yeah, my wife and a lot of people tell me I'm just too nice sometimes. So, in fact, a couple of people that follow me said that I should change my channel name to The Happy Photographer, which is, I guess I'll take that as a compliment. I don't know. Maybe I'll start being a lot more not nice. Maybe I'll just make like really mean reviews or something. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Photo video show says, I think I sent you a big enough file for you to print. Let me know if you need it bigger. Yeah, not without me paying you. I'm not going to just print your photo. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it. So we went through 4 photos since Mark submitted his last second. And if you guys want to get involved and you want to submit your photos for critique, anytime you post a photo on Instagram, just use the hashtag FMEcritique, which I'll put that in the description as well. And that will just put your photo into a big pool of photos for me to choose from. And I've taken like 2 weeks off from this. That's why I wanted to do a live interactive critique with everybody. So I'm sorry that I got lazy on that. I've been working on a lot of other things. I promise I'll get more consistent with these critiques, and I promise I will get consistent with the live stream. So I'll do maybe once or twice a week, like on a Tuesday or a Friday or something like that. And again, if you guys like live streams and photo talk, go and follow the Photo Video Show on YouTube. He's got tons of stuff. He talks more about like current news camera stuff instead of just me. I mainly just talk about like the stuff that I own. But Mark actually puts in like the time and research to research all the new cameras that come out, and he just talks about them and talks about the different things, pros and cons. He has a couple of really good ones about the 6D Mark II. If you're interested in that, he's got a lot of just good info on that because he takes the time to do the research, research, whereas I just do the research on my own gear. So I don't know if I would have time, or I'd probably go nuts doing research on everybody, everybody's brand of camera. But if you are interested in that, he's got good videos on that. So all right, cool. Well, I'll just hang around for like another 60 seconds in case you guys have any last minute questions come in. And if you don't, then I'll go ahead and end the live stream here. I'm going to take another sip of my room temperature coffee now. So I think my next lens is going to be the 16 millimeter 1.4. That's what I'm thinking. I don't really know. I don't really know another lens I would need other than that one. And that one's just so good. So I think I'm going to have to get that one. Does anyone watching right now, does anybody own, and this is random, but does anyone own an iPad Pro? The new Apple iPad Pro. I was seriously considering, I'm still seriously considering using the iPad Pro for some photo editing, using the Affinity Photo app that came out for iPad not long ago. I don't know. I'm really considering that. So I think I would really enjoy doing some mobile editing with the Apple Pencil and the big 12.9-inch screen. If anyone uses one, let me know in the live chat how you like it. Mark Puckett says, I'm on the verge of getting one. Yeah, man, me too, man. But see, right now it's a tough decision because it's kind of, for me, I'm trying to think of three things. I'm in between three things right now that are about the same price. I'm trying to decide if I should do the iPad Pro, if I should do the 16 millimeter 1.4 Fuji lens, or if I should do, I need like a better vlogging camera. Right now, all I use is my GoPro, and I want something like a Sony RX100 or a Canon, EOS M6 or a G7X Mark II. And Mark, since B&H sends you stuff to review, have you ever reviewed any of those? The G7X Mark II, RX100 V, or the EOS M6? Because I want something with really killer video autofocus for vlogging and just quick video stuff. I think I would probably record a video every day if I just had some kind of quick setup. Instead of something over there like with the big umbrella light and having to get my lapel mics all hooked in. If I just had a quick like run and gun setup other than this, I think I would probably record more often. It would just be easier for me because I'm so busy. Andrew Mark says, I want one so I can watch movies on the big screen on flights. I'm back and forth now. Apple products though. Yeah. So that is my brother. So my brother flies back and forth to Arizona for his internship right now. And yeah, that would be killer. A big 12.9-inch movie screen to watch on the plane. So yeah, I don't know. I've always, it kind of scares me a little bit, I guess, because I've always been like, iPad has always been kind of like a media machine for me, like movies and music and stuff, but I've never really used it as like a laptop. So I don't know if I would, because I have my 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina display right here, and so I don't really need like a laptop. But I guess if that slowly replaced the laptop when iOS 11 comes out, then I might like it a lot. So the Photo Video Show says quickest running gun is your iPhone. That's good advice. Yeah, no, I do use my iPhone a lot. I've got some decent mobile rigs that work really well. Well, cool. Send me an Instagram message of what else, like what cool accessories you use with your iPhone. I'd be curious to know, because I just want an easier running gun setup than my $2,000 4K Sony video camera holding this big thing out in public. It's not not a very good workflow. Content is king. Yes, it is. Exactly. That's why I want an easier way to get more content to you guys, while still retaining production quality and not just, getting some like old 720p camera or something. I want to get really good production quality, but at the same time do quick content for everyone to be able to see. Photo Video Show says most people don't critique the quality as much as you'd think. Yeah, I guess it's the artist in me. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm the kind of guy that like, I've scrapped videos before for like ridiculous stuff. Like if I see the focus like shift for like, a minute of the video, I'll just scrap it because I can't stand photo. I don't know. I like high production quality as much as I can get, in my office here. So yeah, these live streams are proof. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because these live streams, this pretty much doesn't get any better quality than this unless you do one of the big broadcasting stations and you hook in your DSLRs and all that stuff. And that's just not worth it for me. I don't have a video team to handle all that for me. And I've seen some of the big YouTube channels that do that, and they're really nice quality. But when it comes down to like views versus, Google Hangouts or whatever, they don't get any more views just because they have a better looking broadcast. It's live is live, and the thrill in a live chat is that we get to interact with each other in real time. So I think that's kind of the importance of a live stream, is interacting with your viewers in real time. And whether you're doing that in 720p or in 8K, I don't think that really matters. So I just like talking to you guys in real time and interacting with all the wonderful people that make up the Finding Middle Earth community. Okay, well, now that I've rambled on for another like 5 minutes, Mark Puckett says, send me your number and I'll FaceTime you when you get some free time. Okay, sweet. I'll do that. I'll send you my number on Instagram. All right, well, cool. I'm going to wrap this up. Again, I want to thank everyone that was cool enough to send in their photos for critique. I will do another critique next week, and I promise I'll get back on the consistent weekly train with this stuff. And if I get lazy or anything, you guys give me a hard time on YouTube and tell me to get my butt in order so I can keep doing these weekly critiques. I was doing good there for a while, and then I took 2 weeks off, so I won't do that again. All right, cool. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys in the next one.